In this video, I'll give you a lesson on how to play the Revolutionary War British NCO calls. The NCO calls were used to summon the various NCOs, such as all the sergeants, all the corporals, all the orderly sergeants, or orderly corporals, etc. This should be the sixth duty call you learn. Make sure you have your drumsticks and drum or drum pad set up. In this lesson, I'll play to demonstrate phrases, and then give you time to play along to music or audio. Note, you should know how to play 17-stroke rolls. If you don't, check out my video, 17-stroke roll, lesson 12. The NCO calls are a series of rolls and taps to summon the sergeants and corporals. Depending on how many rolls you play will depend on whether you're trying to get just the orderly sergeants and corporals or all of the sergeants and corporals. Adding the taps is how you add on the call for corporals. As you'll recall from lesson 12, the 17-stroke roll, these notes are quarter notes. Again, we can tell because of the filled-in heads and no bar or flag. Quarter notes are worth one full beat. The final note in a roll can change depending on the rhythm that comes next. Since these 17s end with a quarter note, they get a full beat. So if you were marching, they end on a step, and you wouldn't play again until the next step. Following the roll, you'll see this Z symbol. This is a quarter rest. Like a quarter note, this rest has a value of one beat, but it's a beat of silence. In this example, we'll play the last stroke of the roll when your left foot hits the ground, and you'd rest when your right foot hits the ground, and would finally play again when your left foot hits the ground again to begin the next roll. First, we'll look at the call for just orderly sergeants. This will be a 17-stroke roll, one full beat of rest, and then a second 17-stroke roll. So all together, it'll sound like this. 1 and 2 and. Make sure you're giving that full space of rest between those two rolls. So again, I'll play. Can be helpful to give yourself those little phantom strokes, ghost strokes, just to make sure that you're playing a full beat of rest. Next, we'll look at the call for all sergeants. This is conceptually the same, but we'll just add a third 17-stroke roll. So altogether, this will sound like this. The same thing, just 3 rolls this time, making sure to have a full, complete beat of rest between all rolls. One more time. If we also want to call the corporals, we'll add on 5 strokes at the end. So for the orderly sergeants and orderly corporals, there'll be 2 rolls and then 5 strokes. Sound like this. Notice that there is also a beat of rest before we start the strokes, and the single strokes are slow, even strokes. One more time for the orderly call. We want to call all sergeants and all corporals. We'll play the 3 rolls and then the 5 strokes. So again, we have a rest between all of the rolls, a rest before starting the strokes, and nice even strokes. One more time. Now try playing along. I'll give 2 clicks and then we'll play each different. Now try playing along. I'll give 2 clicks and then we'll try playing each of the NCO calls. First, Orderly Sergeants Call. Now, Orderly Sergeants and Orderly Corporals Call. Next, all sergeants call. And now all sergeants and all corporals call. Make sure you can comfortably play along to the recording all the way through before moving on. Once you've got this beating down, move on to the next lesson. If you want a recording of just the full beating, check out my video